Welcome to Advanced Insights, where we provide just what the show name suggests, advanced insights into some of the most exciting trends and topics in technology. I'm Mark Papermaster, CTO and EVP at AMD. On this episode, I'm joined by Chris Gandolfo. He is the EVP, North America Cloud Infrastructure and AI Sales at Oracle. He reinvigorated the One Oracle mentality by tightly integrating his field teams with Oracle Digital, an organization he later led. Chris, it is great to have you on the show. You know, we find ourselves at yet another juncture in this AI journey of sort of change beyond the rate and pace that I think any of us anticipated. I've really been looking forward to our conversation, and honestly, I don't think we could have planned the timing any better. We're at now the start of this inflection of all the readiness we've done of AI, all the work that's been, I'll say foundational, all of the models and generative AI capabilities, but now people are starting to really use it and deploy it. And I can't wait to hear your perspectives from where you guys sit at Oracle on what is going on right now and what's coming in the future.
Mark, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm really excited to be here. It's an exciting time to be in the industry, but it's also a really exciting time for us at Oracle, right? You think of our past and our heritage, right? We grew up as a mission-critical software company, right? And our expertise was around mission-critical software for databases and the whole application stack. And now we find ourselves as a player in the hyperscaler market, right? With Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, OCI, we now are contending and competing for some of the largest workloads that are processed by both language model trainers or enterprises and the like. So it's a really exciting time for us.
Let's start with, I think, a question on a lot of people's mind, and from your vantage point, here you are with the hyperscaler. So people come to you with a whole range of problems that they want you to provide the compute infrastructure for. So there's training on one hand, training these huge models, and now people are starting to run these actual inferencing real-world AI applications. So, might be fun to just get the dialogue going just with the context. What are your Oracle customers, coming to you with? Is it, it's training, it's inference, what kind of mix? And then maybe we can delve a little bit deeper into the two workloads.
Sure. No, I mean, it's a hot topic for sure. I think training thus far has taken all the oxygen out of the room, right? It has been at a scale that I don't think anyone saw coming or could possibly have imagined. Even if you've lived through other technology inflection points, this has been unique. A lot of our focus has been just build the right infrastructure for training. And we're also one of the world's largest ISVs, right? So we have a massive portfolio of software. And with the advent of NLPs and these language models, right, all of that software is going to be influenced by AI. Right, and we have a front seat for that because we have a huge portfolio of SaaS applications, a lot of on-premise software. So we have been efforting in parallel to building infrastructure, taking all these novel models, whether it's ChatGPT or Grok, Llama, Cohere, and
you have to be customer number one.
We have to be customer one, and I think ISVs, if you're an ISV, I think you have to. This will be the low bar, is you have to be inference ready. Your software is going to have to be ready to handle the AI experience. So we're seeing that happen right now with our own customers. We've made a choice to take all of our subscription software and find areas where we can embed models. We're starting with the easy stuff first. Like if you have an HCM platform, you're an HR manager, you want to write a job description, you want to read a resume, speeding up the time to hire is kind of the promise of enterprise software, was we're going to automate all these processes. But then you implement it, you're like, this is really complex stuff. It's hard to simplify it. Now we have the transformer and we have all these LLMs. I think we can deliver on that promise. And I think we've made a really good choice to embed that into the subscription and just say, look, this is about feature enhancement. This is about changing the experience. So we get to see enterprise inference as a front seat, whether it's Cerner, or HCM, or ERP, NetSuite. We're doing this in our entire portfolio.
And you're seeing both sides. You're having to use your data for your applications, train,
that's right,
and then deploy that inferencing solution in the SaaS application.
That's exactly right, because we control the deployment in SaaS, right? So it's kind of incumbent upon us to take advantage of these models and make sure that we're doing the inference for the enterprise that way. Now, I also have another perspective. When you think about training and inference, like when does inference take over? It's like, I don't think training is going to end. Like, I think that the way training has been going,
Yeah.
it's going to be durable, right? The more people inference and start using these models, the more you're going to have new experiences, new data, new paradigms that you're going to have to retrain and fine tune, and so you're constantly going to be training. It might be fewer people doing that,
Right.
but there's the scale of it. I don't have any data that shows it's going to slow down. Like it's really insatiable. But from an inference perspective, it's a little different game, right? I think it happens in smaller sizes. We've made a design choice at Oracle, at OCI. So we entered the game late, right? We came in probably as the last major hyperscaler to enter the market.
Some of our listeners, I just want to make sure they know, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure.
OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, right? Oracle, our heritage has been about software, and all of a sudden in the last 4 or 5 years, we've kind of exploded in the hyperscaler game. And we use that late position to our advantage, right? We got to watch what the other hyperscalers did. They basically taught the enterprise how to use a shared resource effectively, right? And of course, our customer base is heavily regulated. It's usually mission critical, right? People don't use Oracle as a nice to have. It's doing something incredibly important. So we had to build a cloud that was ready for that type of work. So when we entered the market, we made some design choices that I think are paying off very nicely now. Because, for example, a cloud region at Oracle fits into 9 racks, right? We don't have to build a super Walmart to build a region, right? We can just fit in where the customers want. So when you think about globally distributed inference, when you think about inference at the edge or where it needs to occur, I think we're really well positioned because building a cloud region is an incredible amount of capital.
Yeah.
A lot of research has to go into that. You can't just, build in and hope people show up to it.
I'm going to get into that in more detail in a minute, but keep
Sure.
going.
Yeah, so the idea of building these portable, more distributed clouds, right? And the fact that we've created the tooling, the automation, and the density,
Right.
and the full OCI region can fit in such a small footprint. It's a reason why the other hyperscalers, I think, are peaking at like 50, 60 global regions each, where we already have 200 on either live or coming online. And I think we're going to wake up in a short future and find out we're going to have 2,000 regions, right? Because this distributed inference, I think, is going to need to be done as close to the work as possible for the least latency.
Because you are a software as a service, a SaaS provider, you're inherently figuring out with your own applications how to lower the friction of leveraging AI.
That's right.
So I love that you're applying your I'll call it your home cooking to improve the experience. And I talk to customers quite a bit in my CTO role at AMD, and this is the number one comment I hear from enterprise: make it easy.
Yeah.
So I mean, SaaS applications, is in fact the easiest way because the SaaS provider, you do the heavy lifting, right? And
That's
so
right.
they should just be able to have like you said, natural language kind of interface. You also have customers, coming to you with their needs, both training and inference, and so it's giving you insights to the kind of workloads. And you're actually accommodating both, where they might have big training needs, where they might be running inference, and it might be smaller, more tailored models. Let's dive into that just a little bit. Sure. So let's start with, someone coming to you and they have a foundation LLM, that's going to be, a trillion plus parameters in there. So it's this massive model that they need trained. I have to believe our listeners are, to scratch their heads saying like, how do you think about that from an infrastructure standpoint? Like, how do you think about the power? Like, where do you put this? How are you scaling? I mean, it just everything from the compute side up to power delivery, but thermal, mechanical. I mean, there's just every facet of engineering, it seems to me, involved in that. How do you think about it from Oracle? Do you partner? Do you have teams? You have to have incredible expertise you built up in the area.
Yeah, no question. I think it starts with a lot of planning, right? Yeah. We're operating in a scarce environment, right? There's not enough power to serve the compute demand. And there was a time that there wasn't enough chips that I remember not too long ago,
right,
where all of these critical paths come together, and doing things at this type of enormous scale takes a huge amount of planning and a lot of foresight. And, our choice has been to put the highest utility on performance and efficiency over anything else to be in this game, right? Because we are literally trying to squeeze every ounce of economic throughput out of every system that we build in order to survive in this business, right? I think you can make the wrong choice and find yourself upside down when you're in a very long-term commitment with a big data center investment and a lot of power committed. You got to make sure that you can deliver these things. And it's not just having access to the power and the chips. Of course, you have to have that, right? And you have to have that skillfully planned. It's the design choices we made, like bare metal, for example, right? We thought for enterprises, maybe you shouldn't put a hypervisor everywhere. You should give them the option to get all the power out of that system because they're going to be bringing complex things over that they may not be able to change.
Yes.
Right. So we made that choice. We're going to have a bare metal cloud foundation. You also know what we've done together with Exadata, right? We learned how to build a very high-performing, low-latency, non-blocking network with RDMA, right? So to run an Exadata system, which runs an Oracle database in the cloud, that is a high-performance workload. So that throughput experience in building that system informed us how to build a network that was perfect for AI, especially when you're meshing together a huge amount of GPUs. So we use Rocky.
You had a head start.
We had a head start, and I don't know if we knew we had a head start for this, or it was fortuitous that all those design choices put us in this position with the bare metal concepts, with a low latency network. You put GPUs into that environment, and it really goes fast, right? So all those performance choices we made, I think, are bearing fruit now, right? Because what we find in the people that are doing the high training, the high intensity workloads, when they kind of compare running flops in our cloud versus another, the price may not be different, but the throughput is significantly different and how fast that model runs.
Very unique perspective you have, just where you guys sit in the center of things. Let's talk a little bit about enterprise customers. So, we just talked about the big heavy lift training for large language models, and what you guys have been doing, leveraging your deep experience and history to address that. Flip it over to the many enterprise customers that are coming to you, and they may already be running on Oracle Cloud, they may be running on Exadata, but now they say, I got to add inferencing to the mix, and they have a whole range of applications. So 2 questions. One, where are they? Where's enterprise writ large on this journey? Are we in the first inning, or are we starting to see more move applications into real world productivity gains with AI? I know everyone started with low-hanging fruit, chat boxes and things, but where are we today? And then secondly, are you seeing different compute infrastructure demands as enterprise starts to come up in terms of those inferencing needs?
Yeah, I think maybe we're at the top of the first inning, like on deck circle, maybe. Like, I think it's still very nascent, right? I think back to my previous comments about enterprise SaaS, I think that is where you're going to see a lot more practical application of these models and inference, and you're going to see a lot of consumption based on that. Pure kind of agentic inference applications that are novel or bespoke at the enterprise level. I think we see a lot of experimenting. I don't see a lot of expertise emerging where the code has been cracked there. So I think there's a lot of room to run. When the enterprise, the classic enterprise that doesn't have the same type of model experience that you're going to find at OpenAI or Meta or some of these other pioneers of frontier models, I think they're going to have a very high expectation to consume inference as opposed to having the expertise to build all this stuff out. So I think what we are trying to stage for is when those inference needs come, make sure that we have the infrastructure where they need it, when they need it. And again, back to the kind of small footprint, distributed inference tech, I think that's going to play a really big role. We've also made another choice. We compete with Microsoft and AWS and GCP. We're all fighting for cloud business, but we also partner, right? Like, whoever would have thought, right? You can now take a OCI database rack and consume it in Amazon. You can consume it in Azure. And it's not as simple as like we just gave them a license and said, here, knock yourself out. You're allowed to run the Oracle database in the cloud. That wouldn't get the performance. To get the performance out of the Oracle database, you need Exadata. And you need Exadata Cloud Service, which is OCI. So we physically nested these systems in these other clouds. So it's a really great time to be a customer, right? Customers are now seeing the walled
benefit.
gardens come down, and it's like, hey, everyone's fighting for my business, and you're taking these kind of artificial barriers to say, oh no, you must do business with me in this manner. Is now like, well, how would you like to consume it, in what manner? And to do all that, you have to interconnect too, right? So to get all these clouds connected together, it's a very compelling time, right, in the ecosystem where customers have a lot more choice than I think they ever had.
As you all know, because we work closely together, we're all about partnership and we're about ecosystem. I mean, it's exactly what you said. There should be choice.
Yes.
There should be choice on your compute devices. There should be choice as to how you configure your compute infrastructure. And so we've been all about that. And I would love just to tell a little bit of the story of how AMD and Oracle have worked together, because I think it's important for the listeners to understand the complexity that AI has brought upon all of us means we have to partner better than we ever have before, because you just described in our chat so far many different types of applications and what you're doing from an Oracle perspective, but it goes up and down the stack, meaning from Oracle's perspective, you're going to do the best where AMD and Oracle partner, if we're thinking all the way down to the silicon on that optimization, then of course you're then creating that bridge all the way through the stack and the end application, whether it be your own application or a third party that runs on OCI. Let's start with just a little of the history here, right? I mean, it starts with first with Exadata.
Yes.
And maybe we can start there. Just get your thoughts on the partnership.
Yeah, our partnerships was grounded in engineering and benchmarking and performance, right? I think that's a core value that has informed how we make all of our technology choices together. And I think we've got something great to build on with the relationship we have with the Exadata high performance systems. Think about what we've done with the EPYC line of chips, right?
Yeah.
So you think about our non-GPU compute is largely built upon the AMD chipset. And we do these things called build compares with our customers. And we have some built-in design advantages because we have bare metal. We've also done something called off-box virtualization, which is the Pensando smart NIC card. When we built our cloud, we took our control plane and we put it in a smart NIC fabric away from the customer tenancy. So all of the virtualization software that orchestrates the OCI and the control plane, it's off the box.
Yeah,
and it's because of the Pensando chip, that's where we put that intelligence. So what it does is it gives our customers direct access to your chip, right? So they don't have to muscle through Oracle software to get the performance they want out of that CPU. So when they buy a core from us or they rent a core from us, they're getting more performance automatically out of OCI. So we do these build compares. We're like, hey, run a workload here, run it here. And on the AMD chipset, we're probably on average 40, 50% cheaper, just like for like, to run the same workload because of these design choices. So it's paved a really nice path for us to be kind of an economic disruptor. Being late, we made these choices. We come in and we can actually create a pretty good financial outcome. The network thing, also, it changes our security posture, right? By moving that control plane off the box, it reduces the threat surface automatically, right? So if a customer tenancy were to be compromised, it's a lot harder to jump into a different network and kind of permeate throughout the cloud. So it has performance, it's got the robust scalability, but it also has a better security posture for us.
Those attributes you described of the AMD Pensando network interface card, you have a lot to do with that. So again, our strategy is to partner, to listen very closely to customers. And what the Pensando network team did was they created a very strong technical advisory board, the TAB. And guess who one of the largest voices was Oracle.
That's right.
And so it just, I think for the listeners, I say that it's that kind of partnership. That's how these solutions get optimized is, if we listen to you, we can fold the smarts in. And then back in the Exadata example and what we've done in our core roadmap is where, as you mentioned, you deployed our EPYC x86. You guys have such a deep chip expertise dating back to the acquisition of Sun years ago. My team tells me that they never have more intense and low-level optimization. Like what are the optimizations we need to get into our CPU roadmap? That input that comes from the Oracle team is incredibly helpful because you guys have a deep expertise all the way down to the silicon. You're writing the applications, right? And so not just on our network interface card, you've done the same on our CPU roadmap. You've influenced it to be better and to meet your needs better. And I think that's the name of the game going forward. I mean, if we want an ecosystem and we want multiple players, it takes that kind of cross collaboration.
It absolutely does, Mark. I think we've kind of purposely not tried to be kingmaker where we do everything in the stack, right? We'd rather leverage the ecosystem for the things that our partners are really good at and just try and influence it where it exposes the advantages that we've created in our tech, right? Like we don't have a silicon team trying to create a GPU chip. We're not trying to build a language model. We just have chosen to opt out of those races.
Okay.
And we'd rather partner and do the things that we're really good at, right? And I think, where we go with this is in the MI300 series. You made a design choice to make a kind of a higher memory throughput footprint in that chip, which when you think about, again, to globally distributed inference, if you can get away with putting fewer GPUs in a rack on the edge because you have a higher memory there, then that kind of, it's a very good marriage for us together when you think about our readiness to take advantage of that inference at the edge, right? If you didn't have that, then we'd probably have to load that rack with more GPUs, and all of a sudden we're not talking about the same footprint, we're not talking about the same power efficiency and the same needs to get into that edge region. Yeah. Right, so it's really like it was almost planned, but it's a very perfect marriage from a technical partnership perspective.
It's great hearing that, and we did design with a higher stack up of the high bandwidth memory, which is what feeds all the data and AI weights into the GPU. We did it at first, just to be candid, on the hope that it would provide exactly because when you think about we had a strong history in high-performance compute, but that AMD Instinct MI300 was our first foray to just go head-to-head versus the big guy in data center GPU. And so we hoped it would provide that. And then when we started working with you and you started showing that, look, I can use less GPUs, less power, less footprint, it proved our bet.
Yeah, that's right.
As we worked together with you on AI, you also helped us inform the future. Again, then we earned the seat at the table, so you could tell us more of the needs, and we folded your requirements in. And you guys have already leaned in and made an announcement on the MI355, the next generation.
We're really excited about the future. Look, the industry needs some competition, right? All of us need to compete. It keeps us sharp. And by the way, the customers benefit the most.
We develop our chips on our own CPUs and GPUs and network chips, but you guys are a huge piece of our solution. We want that advantage of the memory on MI300. MI355 will be a 35x throughput increase, so we're excited about it. And I think that's kind of a lead into to a comment I guess I want to make, and that is when we started the process of working with Oracle Cloud. I go back again for our listeners on the importance of collaboration. We also were a customer of Oracle Cloud. I remember when we first started to apply, trying to apply CPUs, EPYC CPUs from Oracle Cloud. A lot of our workload is chip design, of course, so it's electronic design automation. And we ended up having some kind of funky requirements you guys had not seen before on the storage side to be able to feed those processors. And I thought, well, no, that's going to be it. This isn't going to work. And I was shocked. You guys came back and said, well, we're going to architect a different solution here. It's going to meet your guys' need, and away we went.
We're trying to listen to the market and to the customers so we make the right decisions. And I think we've not tried to lead out and say we figured everything out, do it our way, right? I think that if you look at our top to bottom, all of our big large language model customers, they've all had a hand in influencing how we design infrastructure, right? And I think that it preserves our future together, right? If we can do something that's going to make their decisions easier, it's going to give them the performance they need for their specific reasons, it's going to make us a more attractive partner for the future, right? And I think there's stickiness in that, right? We've unlike maybe some people might consider our heritage, we've made a choice to actually be the most open cloud provider. I think what I tell customers often is we're the easiest cloud to leave, right? We have the least amount of commercial lock-in to our cloud. We've decided, hey, if you're going to come in late and you're going to disrupt the market, you better do something different. And different for us is open. And when you think like moving data out of our cloud, we're 90% less than the other major hyperscalers.
Yes.
So what we're telegraphing to the market is like, hey, if you don't like our performance, you don't like our service, and you don't like what we're doing for you, there's no artificial lock-in commercially where you are going to be punished to leave our cloud. That keeps us on our toes. We always have to perform. And I think that ethos, carries forward to everything we do in OCI, right? Is you got to perform to win.
Well, I love that. As you know, we're completely about open as well. So we have that same ethos, and I'm sure that's a part of why the companies work together so well. Well, Chris, I hate to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot. What's coming next? Like, give us your perspective.
I think the training is not going to stop. I think that the toothpaste is out of the tube. I don't think there's any serious person that thinks that AI is not going to be here to stay. I think it is going to influence every part of our lives. It's going to touch every piece of software. So there's like a massive rewrite, and that's going to require a lot of training. I think that the economic burden to train models and create models and keep training models is so high that it'll probably filter out to where there's only kind of a few monolithic players, just because I see how expensive this stuff is, and it's really hard to get the capital to continue to invest in training and training and training. But I think every other developer is going to be an AI developer. You're going to have to be inference ready in everything you do. We're already seeing it in the SaaS. I think the next frontier is to get to the developers and ensure that the enterprises, it's like nobody's building retro software anymore, right? All software that gets built from here on is going to be AI ready. It's going to be ready to be inference. There's some great companies out there already doing this. I don't know if you've seen Windsurf, or it used to be called Codium, but they're doing code generation in a very successful way. Like, I think that's in a very practical enterprise use case where you can see inference immediately without having to build all this stuff. You just get the benefit of somebody else's work. I think that's going to take off. And that's just going to ultimately affect every enterprise.
I think the challenge for us in the industry then is going to have to be to think about, as AI has that kind of transformational impact on society, so work and what we do every day at our, with our personal lives, it could really fundamentally change the role that we have as technology and compute infrastructure and application providers in the industry. It's a burden, actually, but one that I think we're going to have to step up to as an industry. Have you all thought about that at Oracle? I mean, the impact that you all have, if your projection holds, which I personally agree with, means the impact is going to go up dramatically over time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're the kind of company, particularly driven by our heritage and our customer base, where things like security and doing things responsibly is another part of our ethos that'll always have to be front and center in everything that we do. So I think the burden on us as a society is going to be there.
Like you, I'm an optimist. I choose to believe that we are, as a society, going to put the right guardrails and ensure that we have a way to responsibly deploy what is truly an amazing technology. Chris, it was great to get your perspective. It's, you guys, again, are right in the middle of building out not only the compute infrastructure where our industry is going, but also, many of the mission-critical applications that I think many of our listeners are either running on or they're relying on it every day. So thank you so much for joining me and giving us your perspectives.
Well, thank you, Mark. I'm grateful for our partnership. It's always great to talk with you, but I really am thankful you gave me this opportunity to be on your show. So it's been fun.
My thanks to you. Appreciate it. What a fun discussion with Chris Gandolfo, and so timely, given all the changes into how people are getting their compute capabilities in this age of AI. The main takeaways from our discussion are that it's vital for enterprise customers to prepare for the AI revolution. When their inference needs comes, the infrastructure they need is there to handle it. Another takeaway is collaboration. No one company can provide the be-all, end-all solution. And Chris emphasized the importance of collaboration, from an application provider right into the compute infrastructure, right down to the silicon level. Thank you for joining us today on Advanced Insights. I look forward to bringing you more in-depth conversations on cutting-edge technology, industry insights, and visionary perspectives from some of the brightest minds in the field. You can watch the video on AMD's YouTube channel, or you can listen on Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube Music, audio-only platforms. Technology is always advancing, and I can't wait to share more insights with you next time.